Hi, so in this video I'm going to take you through the volume of a cylinder, okay? Now this is a formula for the volume of a cylinder. It is V equals pi r squared h. Now this isn't given to you in the exam paper, that's why I've written memorise underneath it for you, because technically the cylinder is National 4, but they can put it into National 5 mixed in with maybe adding a cone to the top or working backwards to get a height. So that's the formula, pi r squared, which is the area of the circle on the top, times by the height. Okay, so you need to learn that. So here's my first example of like a tin of beans. I'm going to start by writing out the formula. So V equals pi r squared h. Pi, we leave as pi. Remember, you can always use 3.14 if you want to. That'll be up to whatever your teacher's told you to use. I use the pi button though to be more exact. So we've got pi times, now the radius is 4 and the height is 11. You go to your calculator and just type that in as it's written. That's the beauty to the volume questions. And that gives us an answer of 552. Now I haven't mentioned rounding, so I'm going to do all my answers on this video to one decimal place. Now, so my volume is 552.9 centimetres cubed, and I'm going to just write that that's 1 dp at the side because it's not entirely accurate, okay, and I couldn't quite fit my units in there. So there's a nice straightforward one. Let's look at another one. So this one here, my pupils called this a toilet roll question. It really just could be any kind of container with a hollow middle. That's what it's trying to look at like. Now the method for this one is we're going to have to do the outside cylinder, the inside cylinder that's effectively been removed and take away. So we're going to do big volume, take away small volume. Okay, so two calculations here. So I'm going to do the big one first. So the big one is pi r squared h. So pi times, radius here is 8, not 16, so be careful. So pi times 8 squared times a height of 10, and that gives us 2010.62. And I'm going to, at this point, keep my answers to two decimal places. The small one will be pi times, I'm going to skip my actual full formula here. So pi times, and the radius of the inner one is, 3. So pi times 3 squared times the height of 10, and that gives me 282.74. And remember I said the actual volume that we're after is big take away small. Now you can put in the numbers here again to show what you're doing, or from a marker's point of view, me seeing you writing big take away small is enough to know your method. And that gives us 1727. Now it's 88, so it's your choice. Do you want to keep it as 88 or round it to 9? I'm doing everything to two decimal places, so I'm going to do that. Okay, so 1728 cubic centimetres to two decimal places. So that's more of a kind of exam type question where it's called composite volume because you've got two shapes. Okay, let's look at another one. So to make questions harder and more National 5, they will give you a shape, tell you its volume and ask you to work backwards or change the subject to get like a missing radius or height. So we know this mug is a cylinder, so we start with the formula. V equals pi r squared h. So I know that what pi is, well I know what we use. My radius of the mug is what I'm trying to find out, and the height of the mug is 13. Now I know my volume's 826, but instead of putting it here, I'm going to just put it over this side. Just from my experience, you prefer keeping the unknown item you're wanting on the left. Now, we need to try and work out what the radius is. So let's have a look at the left-hand side where the radius is. What is in our way? We need to somehow deal with this times by pi and this times by 13. Now, when I explain algebra, I say it's all about opposites. So we're going to do the opposite of those two things. I'm going to show you two different ways to write your work in here. Pi times 13 is the same as 13 times pi. Whatever that number is, I'm going to divide by it. So I'm effectively going to take them both to the bottom and divide by whatever pi times 13 is. Okay. Now, if you've got a calculator button, now the one that's got the fraction mode that comes up like that when you type it in, literally press the fraction button and put that in, and it will give you 20.22 something. Okay. Now, I've made a little mistake here. That should have actually been r squared, okay? So r squared was 20.22. I'm going to put a couple of dots to show I'm using the full answer. Now, my radius isn't 20. My radius squared is 20, so we still need to square root that. Use the full number where preferable. So do your square root of your answer button. And we get out 4.5. Sorry, 4.5 centimetres. and that's to 1 decimal place. And that sounds about right. Radius of a mug could be 4.9 centimetres. Okay. What I've got in this next slide is I've got some examples for you to go try on your own. So I would pause, once I've finished talking, pause the video, go try these, and then press play again and you'll see the answers appear on this as well. So the first 4 in the top row are straightforward. Go get the volume. Just pay close attention to this one here with the 1.1 metres, purely because that doesn't match up with the centimetres over there. So I've put a wee asterisk. We should always be working in the same units here. The bottom 3 are the ones where you've got to work backwards and do the kind of change the subject. I did one like the tuna can to find the radius. The other 2, the height one is very similar. It's just height you're getting at the end. And the last one, just be careful. It looks for the diameter instead of the radius. So pause, try them. Remember, those answers will appear up once you press play again. So thank you. Good luck.